Welcome to Maximising Efficiency with Dext. Again, I'm joined by Paul Lodder, and today we're going to be talking about tracking categories. So if you use Xero, you may use tracking categories. If you use QuickBooks, they may be referred to as classes and locations. And effectively, it's an extra layer of reporting, which you can tag your costs and your income against a certain tracking category. So what does that mean in practice? You may have different locations. So you may have a Liverpool office, a Manchester office, a London office, and you want to see how they're performing. Or it may just be a certain type of income stream that you want to see which one is more profitable than another. So we've had a few changes to our product recently, and we're going to go through the changes that we've had on our product, but also some of the tips and tricks around sort of manipulating the tracking categories within Dext. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Paul on this one.
Perfect. Thank you, Max. So I'm going to run through two areas within Dext Prepare that can help with tracking categories. And then Max is going to cover another couple of areas that he used in practice as well. So our most recent update in terms of tracking categories is actually our AI automation. So with our AI automation, what we actually try and do now is identify what the tracking category might be from the information on the invoice. And what we can see here in this example, this is in relation to Leeds office training. And we can see just on the right hand side under branch, we've got use Leeds and two little symbols, which is our AI working to try and automatically identify this for you. So that's number one in terms of ensuring that tracking categories are picked up seamlessly and efficiently. The second option that some of you may use or may not be aware of is actually with supplier rules. With supplier rules, you may actually have an invoice that always comes in from a particular supplier and it always relates to a particular office or a particular country. It doesn't matter what your tracking categories are. And what you can do is set up supplier rules so every time that invoice comes in, that branch and location is automatically selected for you. That ensures that nothing is missed. It means that ultimately your reporting in Xero, QBO, any product that you may be using is accurate and it gives you the insights you need. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Max, who's just going to cover a couple of other areas that he used in practice to really support and aid the tracking category functionality.
Perfect. So two things that just made things a little bit easier for certain types of clients. And these aren't going to work for everyone, but they did work for sort of vast majority of clients. So people who use tracking categories, what you used to find was the client would send in the invoice and then we'd spend forever trying to go back and forth, find out what the tracking category was before we pushed it into Xero. And we ended up having to charge quite a bit more for the use of tracking categories. To reduce that cost for our clients and make the process a lot easier, what you can do is on the left-hand side down here, what you can see is you'll have branch or country or whatever your tracking category is, that's what they'll be called. So I'm just going to jump to that tab there. And within Dext Prepare, first of all, you can turn on or off tracking categories so they're visible in Dext Prepare, just to make that journey a little bit easier so people don't have to choose from really large lists. So if a project's completed, turn it off within Dext Prepare. But also you might have certain users who work for certain offices. When I worked in my last practice, I headed up our Liverpool office and everything that I did was was around that Liverpool office. So every time, Max Whiteley sends something in, what we can do is we can have everything that Max does, he is related to whatever office that may be. So let's say London, so that every time I scan something in, I take a picture of something or anything to do with my name, it automatically goes to that tracking category. One other thing that we did use was we had certain clients who, there may be just have a finance team and they deal on big projects, especially in the world of construction, and they wanted an email in address for a certain project that might have gone on for 12, 24 months. So what you can do, which is a little bit of a workaround in Dext Prepare, is I've set up effectively a sort of like a dummy user within Dext, and I've called it Max Whiteley Leads Project, and I've given it an email in address of my company name -leads@dext.cc. So I could have literally an email in address for every single project that I use. So as soon as you send the Leads project email address, it goes through to our Leads tracking category there. So the only issue with that is you can't have two users with the same. So I can't have Max Whiteley at Dext.com registered to two users within our email address. So what you can do is if you, after your name, this works for most email addresses. If you put a plus alias after your name and then either a number or a word before the @ sign, that allows you then to, if Dext ourselves, if we want to send you an email around a duplication we found or an error we found, you will still receive that notification just to max.wiley@dext.com. Even that plus dot alias just allows you to set up a new user effectively. And that is a little bit of a workaround. Alternatively, you can use a separate address if you have multiple email addresses there for you to use. But it was a way of getting us another email in address, and it was a little workaround that some of our clients really, really did enjoy. So we hope that was useful. Get tracking away, get providing more insight to your clients, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers, Max.